Football season may be over, but for frequency's sake, still has you covered for all your sporting needs. Tune in every Sunday when the best professional wrestling podcast around, Cards Subject to Change, gets you caught up on everything inside the ropes. They won't miss a count with weekly analysis and interviews. More into auto racing? We've got a double dose for you on the track. Tune in to Fast Money with Rod Villagomez each week and win some money with the quickest bets in all of sports. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your basketball fix? Points in the Paint has you covered with live shows every other week looking at everything in the association. Backed by popular demand, we have the return of The Payoff Pitch, FFSQC's baseball show, covering you on news around the MLB. If you're missing football, don't fret. Mark and Dan still have you covered in the football lounge. Missing Joe Winkle? Probably not.
Well, sometimes love feels just right. It feels so real. It feels just like a pile driver. Yeah, a pile driver. That's what I'm talking about.
So me personally, I'm actually a lifer. I don't remember a time that I wasn't watching professional wrestling. Even my mom explains it to me as when I was a small child, you know, I would just stop in front of the TV and just sit and watch, and I'd just be quiet. It just totally zoned in. So I always been a wrestling fan. And as I get older and even learn more about the business, it's like I continue to fall in love with it for different reasons.
It blows my mind. And I'm like tugging on my mom's pants and stuff. And I'm like, Mom. And she's like, yeah, what? And I go, I want to do that. And I'm like pointing at the TV. Well, she looks and she goes, oh, you want to be like Macho Man and wear the cool sunglasses and say, oh, yeah, and do the elbow drop? And I go, no, I want to be the guy throwing snakes at people.
Yeah.
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast. The for frequency's sake tag team champions of the world, the Wizard CZ and Never Wrong Nick Bull.
Hello out there, one and all. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan, for the fan. Of course, we are powered by Lopez Pizza. We are built by Durham Remodeling. We are colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, protected by Jared Zook Country Financial. Welcome, one and all. You're looking live. We are here in Waterloo, Iowa, the site of tonight's Absolute Pro Wrestling show. Last man standing, CZ.
Last man standing. This is going to be absolutely epic. We're coming live. We're talking about Absolute Pro, and we've got some guests that we're going to talk about. Sitting with us right now, I believe you were called the Kingpin the other day.
Man, everybody in Waterloo wants to give me heat with Bam Bam Bundy. The Kingpin is what I was dubbed in a recent city interview by the city of Waterloo, and I guess we're going with it now.
I mean, it's always good when somebody gives you a nickname instead of coming with one with yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, someone that gives you a nickname and sticks like
that's
that.
What I told Bam. So for those that don't know who Bam Bam Bundy is, Bam's a very good friend of mine from Tennessee, and Bam, he goes by the Kingpin. He immediately messaged me after the interview with the city was over. He says, I'm going to chop the hell out of you when I see you next time. I said, thanks, Tara. Appreciate that. So, no, all good fun. Obviously, love that guy and love that we get to be here tonight for this first podcast pre-show party that we've done in APW history. I don't know how many parties you guys have done like this before.
This is our third live. But our
first time on the road.
On the road at,
sure.
At a wrestling event.
It's a huge honor for us to be a part of that with you guys, and we love talking with you guys every single time we get the chance to do so.
Sure, and we're glad to be here. We are in downtown Waterloo, Iowa. We're here at Absolute Pro Wrestling's Last Man Standing. Let's talk about this card that's been assembled for tonight. A big show and a couple big announcements coming this way.
So as far as the card tonight, we've built such a foundation here in Waterloo. It feels like there's matches that we get to see tonight that have been building for probably over a year now.
Yep.
Just with little interactions at the big events. You know, Jay Wesley versus Matty Starr stems from the Winter Brawl Classic, stems from the Free World versus the 319 boys, as they're called.
Yep.
We get to see that. We get to see a first time encounter, which is hard for me to believe. Shank's been at this for now almost 6 years. the big picture in that time frame has never faced them one-on-one. APW gets to say we're the first to ever have that on a card. And that, that open weight championship match is going to be such a huge collision. Again, Free World versus 319. And you get Leo Santel against Bryce Jordan, the Death Dealer. First time he's been in Waterloo in over a year. That guy's having kids, having an adult life, and kicking ass in Algona. He's got big things going. He's got a championship opportunity next week, barring Ethan Everhart winning tonight. Death Dealer with a good tune-up match against Damian Saint, who we're going to talk with on this podcast as well. So it all leads up to that big main event, though. Last man standing. That's what this whole show is about, last man standing. Ethan Everhart, Aaron Von Baron. Last time we were here, double count out. You don't like to see that stuff. You don't like to see championship matches in that way. Any match really in that way. We've built now over a month to this very moment, the first last man standing here for APW between two very good competitors.
Full card, full night of matches. The one thing that really caught my ear you're talking about there is the matchup with Shug in the open weight, or with Shank, in the open weight championship. You said this match is like 6 years in the making. How does that feel to have something that's organic like that work on its own and then be able to, oh yes, this has never been done and we get to present it? How does that feel?
It's one of those things where we were doing the 6-man in Algona, and I told Shank, I said, yeah, you and Pick, you guys have wrestled many times before, haven't you? There's plenty of fair shows with Impact Pro Wrestling and plenty of regular shows, and even during the pandemic, he goes, never once have we touched. I said, how the hell does that just not happen? Because they look like two guys you would think would just wrestle the hell out of each other and beat the hell out of each other.
Sure.
Instead, the fact that we get to be the first, anytime we can say we're the first to do so, feels so damn good. Match type, matches in general, just anything we're able to do and say that we're first to do it, it's an honor and a pleasure to do so. Creating is one of our favorite things to do. Creating an environment, creating a match type, creating rivalries, creating stories. Anytime we get to do that, it just adds to what we are as a product. So tonight, I think a lot of people are going to be very satisfied with the kind of match they're going to get from the Shank and from the big picture.
Now, Jason, I want to get, you have some announcements to make.
I got a couple.
We've got some limited time since we have more guests coming on, and we don't want to go into your show.
You want the first big one?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was telling the guys beforehand too, I said, this took like way too much time out of my life and stress and hair off my head. But tonight, whoever wins that last man standing match will go home with the new heavyweight championship. This was so many months in the making. We're so happy to present this.
Beautiful.
It has many different tie-ins for us. One of the things we love about our belts, it's not just, oh, we want this design and that's it. It's like, hey, if we were to mix a championship from Mexico plus the heavyweight championship, the old school big gold, plus this, plus that, we want this. And that's what we got out of this, minus one little detail I was telling you guys about it off the air. But we're very happy with this belt. We're very happy to have two guys who are very deserving to be champion after tonight, take this belt home. And I think, I love this so much. I'm happy that we can present this tonight, present this on the podcast. That's the first big announcement that I wanted to share here on the podcast.
And we're happy you shared that, by the way.
you guys get the scoop. Now, I will shout out to the 2 count. They usually get some scoops.
Sure.
Everyone needs a little ice cream every now and again.
We'll take that single scoop anytime.
Always, baby. Always, baby.
Your second.
You want the second one?
Do we want the second announcement?
Yeah, I want the second one already.
Okay.
Well, fans are already piling in, so we're gonna keep it on the DL, right? We're not gonna tell anybody, right?
Just the audience that's
listening. You're not
listening.
gonna tell anybody because no one's gonna know. How will they know? October 12th, we're back here. This is months down the road. Our next show here, anyways, is in August on the 31st. So we'll have a little summer break, but looking ahead, going into October, the fans here have been tremendous. They've been really amazing, and we want to reward them for how good they've been to us. The city backing us, this SportsPlex being so amazing to work with, the mayor being behind us. We said, what's the best way to give back to the fans? And we talk about creating match types. Well, we're not going to create a match type, but we are going to bring a match type that has not been a part of APW yet. We're going to have a steel cage as the main event of October 12th.
Wow.
And not only that, it will be a fatal 4-way for this championship. Whoever the champion is will defend it against 3 other men. Who the other competitors will be is going to be determined over the next few months, not just by matches here, but also in Algona, in Fort Dodge, in Steamboat Rock. We're going to really see who impresses us.
Absolutely.
And bring something to the table. So October 12th, we broke the news. Nobody's going to know. Bob Ford's looking at me. He's gonna put it. He's going to say, I want my tickets now. But October 12th, yes, we are proud to announce there will be a cage match featured here at the SportsPlex in Waterloo.
Huge announcement.
And should we add to that announcement?
Yeah.
I think we should, because before the air, we had a contract. You guys, you were sticklers about what you wanted on the dotted line, but we came to an agreement. So our second pre-show podcast party will be October 12th on that date for the cage show. So
just as long as I'm not stepping in the cage.
You're not stepping in the cage. I'm not stepping in the cage.
We'll get a picture by it. How about that?
Okay.
We'll have a picture by it, and that's it. Even though we're live on Facebook, and this guy's been out of action for a little bit, but he's back causing shenanigans. That's the champ, apparently. I'm sure he wants to get as close to the belt as he can after losing it.
I don't blame him. It's a gorgeous belt.
It is a very gorgeous belt. He's a gorgeous man. Don't tell him I said that, though.
Jason, we're very happy to make the trip to Waterloo to get up here and talk about wrestling, talk about independent wrestling. A big show here tonight. Absolute Pro Wrestling's last man standing. A couple big announcements from you. Any closing words? What's your last second pitch to the people maybe listening out there that are gonna maybe come down here later and get a ticket?
Family friendly fun. First last man standing match. If you're an adult of age, you get to have a couple brewskis with your buddies. Father's Day weekend, what a better way to hang out with your kids and share with them what you got to grow up on as a kid, as at their age and whatnot. And plus, you get to see one of the best podcast groups in the Midwest, really anywhere, working here, alongside another group of podcasters that are doing commentary with me, ring announcing, alongside a cameraman who does a good effing job at his job.
Yep.
Shout out to a friend of the podcast,
Clint Dye is in the house tonight,
alongside the
folks.
best sound man in the game, Kyle Dinskow, alongside all the best fans in the Midwest. That's my pitch. So I thank you guys for this. I know you guys are busy. I got to get to the back, make sure no shenanigans are breaking out. But
Absolutely.
I'm going to take this away. I know how you are. You're like, the shades, it's like, hey, I can see through the shades.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. It looks beautiful. It's a classic title updated is how I would describe it. And it looks great. It looks great.
Much love to you guys. I'm sure we're going to talk after the show as well. Maybe we do a post show with the 2 Count guys. Maybe do a little something on our Facebook page tonight.
Maybe we could. Absolutely.
We'll talk about it after.
We'll talk about it after the show for sure.
You guys are the busiest men in the business. Let's get to our next guy, right?
Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, Jason.
Appreciate it. Jason, just our first interview on the pre-show podcast party. CZ, who do we have next stepping into the studio?
We are bringing in one Damian Saint. He's going to come in and we're going to talk wrestling with him. Come on in.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how you doing, Damian?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Thank you for joining us. I know it's before a show and trying to get your mind right, get ready for the night. What's the mindset as you're just under an hour from the show of your match tonight? How are you getting into that spot to be where you need to be?
So yeah, let's kind of just talk out of Dylan's mouth here for a minute. Obviously, we all know that Damian is a pretty dark character, right? And like it's tough to get in those dark places sometimes, and it comes out at night, as they all say, right? So you kind of have to find that niche or that the things that kind of make you want to get to that place. And sometimes it's kind of depressing, it's kind of dark, it's kind of cloudy, right? So just talking as Dylan right here, right now, is I've wrestled Death Dealer and numerous other universes, right? Like literally, we've been across CEW, we've been across IPW, we've been across several other promotions, and here I am as a losing record to Death Dealer. I definitely have come into a fact of knowing that I'm going to come in and be the underdog in this situation, but I don't think I've ever been the underdog when it comes to wrestling. I've always come out on top in some form or fashion or another. So just sitting back there in the locker room, just getting in my corner, getting in my position, knowing how I need to attack this situation, and just barking orders at myself. pretty hard on myself, and I don't think I can take another loss to Death Dealer. And I think you'll see that, I think you'll see that within Damian if that comes to fruition. Hopefully not. Obviously, we're gunning to win. We're gunning to 1, 2, 3. I talk in third person about Damian because literally it's another person. I mean, like literally, that's quite literally what it is.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's a whole nother entity. So I think going into it, I know that I can take Death Dealer down. So
will it be relying on all those previous experiences, or is it going to be something different this time around to get that edge, to get to that fifth gear?
Yeah. So they talk about tuning it to level 11, right?
Right.
You tune up the band, and there's never ever been the level 11, right? So like when I tune up my, bass, or tune up my guitar, or tune up the microphone, rock star style or whatever you want to call it. It's always been at that level, maybe 8 or 9. I've never really reached that level of like, let's get to a level 11. I think you'll definitely see that tonight, where it's like, I'm finally able to turn that up and know that I can take down the Death Dealer, this other entity that's been a craw in my skirt for however long now.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I think it's time to finally put this guy to rest and put him in the deathbed, instead of him putting in his deathbed.
Sure.
I mean, he's literally razor's edged me 3 times out of these matches now, and I'm tired of getting razor's edged. I'm tired of dying every time I come in the ring with him.
I was talking with CZ on the drive up here to Waterloo as you drove up here to do this podcast before the show here at Last Man Standing tonight for Absolute Pro Wrestling. And I said, I'm excited for this match, meaning your match. So I've heard a lot about both. I know there's a little bit of a backstory there. And as a sucker for a storyline and a backstory, I'm in. But there's so much experience there between the two that, yeah, some things may be seen, but I think something is going to come new out of this match that we haven't seen before between you two. That's what I was excited for on the way up here, talking about on the card.
So I don't know if you guys pay attention to social media about me and Damian, Saint or whatever. And obviously people have seen that I've been doing some other stuff outside of actual wrestling. I'm working with backyard promotions and stuff. I know that's hard for people to hear, hard for people to understand. I don't know if they can see me in the camera right now, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm never going to stop because all wrestling matters. Okay. I'm just going to say it out loud like that. But all wrestling does matter. Shout out to Tom Bryce from Sports Wire Radio. But here's the thing, right? So like you talk about things coming out of these storylines and things coming out of these stories, coming out of wrestling, coming out of our characters. I think you'll see something, yes, like you said, next level, whether that be, and I think you've seen it. I'm a hardcore artist. I mean, like literally throw chairs in people's faces, hit people with kendo sticks. I see a sticker on your laptops that says Jared Thumb. I think we can all go back to that Bridge City Slam 5 match or 6 match, whatever freaking Bridge City Slam we're on at this point. But I was there.
I think 6 is this
year.
I
don't really remember getting hit so many times in the head by Jared, whatever. But, obviously that's a fueling fire. But, like, even he's come into that universe of CEW and tried to take over that spot from Thumb when I'm still chasing him. You know what I mean? And, I think putting that to rest here is a good idea. And just saying, like, hey, if you really want to go toe-to-toe and just brawl 110% of the time, that I'm going to come out on top somehow with that. So
For sure.
As fans file in here at the Cedar Valley Sports Complex in downtown Waterloo for Absolute Pro Wrestling's Last Man Standing, what's not just about your match, but let's talk about the whole card in general. Yep. What is the fan going to be saying as they walk away? Anytime you watch a show or go to a show, you have that first couple sentences you say of how you really felt about it. It's fresh, it's new. What are fans going to be saying when they walk out of here tonight?
I seriously think you have the title perfect. It's Last Man Standing, right? And I think people are going to see and say, holy shit, like, excuse my language, but like, literally,
no, that's okay.
Shit, right? Like, it literally was the Last Man Standing. And I think you're literally going to get that from every single match. And it obviously it's not the stipulation of the match completely.
Well, it's not just the main event. It's that mentality will be all over the card.
All over the card. And I think from front to back. And I think that it's going to be a wow moment for a lot of people here tonight. Like, I think it's literally going to be like a holy shit. Like, I just witnessed that. I just witnessed all of that tonight in one show.
I knew we picked a good show to come to.
And this is the one. I mean, like, literally. And these guys have been working really hard. I shout out to Absolute Pro Wrestling. I'm taking some life decisions here through just real life outside of wrestling. And there's some things that I really have to thank Absolute Pro for having me as a, just being here. And I think that they're really taking off. And I respect the shit out of these guys. They're really doing something special. And I look forward to seeing a bunch of all these guys just taking their reign, and obviously I'm only like 4 years in, right? But I know wrestling. I've rode around with Manders. I've rode around with, Gangrel and wrestled Gangrel and have experience with Dan Severn and Omaha, and there's one thing I know is that when I see something special happening, that it's happening here at Absolute Pro. That's all I can really say. And I think that it's a shout out to them and a thank you to them for allowing us to do this and allowing the fans to be themselves, and they come in here, they shout back at us. They have a good time.
Yeah.
You're not having issues like running into the ring and having to beat someone up or put someone out of their misery. Like, we all can do that. I can get enough heat to do that shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on. So I think they're doing something so special here that, like you said, what are they going to bring home tonight after the show? It's that they're going to walk out being like, hey, it literally was last man standing every single match.
I've got goosebumps.
I'm stoked. Let's get this card going. I mean, I know we got a couple more interviews yet, but I'm stoked. I'm absolutely stoked for this card, and you made me even more stoked with the passion that you have. We want to thank you, Damian, for coming on here before our show. We know it's a different time. You're getting in your mindset, and we really appreciate you coming on here and spitting wrestling with us.
Absolutely, man. It's my passion. It's what I love to do, other than stocking groceries at Aldi as a 5-day-a-week employee there as well. But there's always a switch over for me, and you're getting the good side, and that's what's great about what I do is I'm able to talk and be cordial. But also at the same time, I'm okay with telling someone to go F themselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be up here and publicize myself and say hello to everybody of your fans. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And there could be people here that aren't here now that see me or see Vandy or see, Ethan Everhart and say, holy shit, I want to come to the show next. And that's what we're all about.
Absolutely.
And I'll just throw the invitation out. You are welcome to come do one of our long form interviews anytime you want.
Hell yeah. I'd absolutely be into that. And I think not only speaking for just Dylan, obviously for Damian as well. Like, anytime Damian maybe want to come out of the closet, out of the dark, and maybe he'll join sometime soon. But obviously you can see I came walking in here in my vacation shirt. I'm on vacation at Aldi right? So like, I'm on a total vacation. I've golfed like 3 times this week. Everyone's like, holy shit, Damian golfs. And it's like, yeah, I golf. But like, I've been golfing like 3 times this year and shit, or this year. And the 3 times were all this week. And, the way to end off my vacation from a real life work situation, to end it off as a wrestling match and go back to work this next week, just knowing that I've come in and made an impact on all the fans and whatever way I can, even if it's a negative or a positive, that's what's great for me.
You say it's the last ending up your vacation. You're gonna have bumps and bruises, but you're still gonna wake up with a smile, refreshed.
Dude, all right, let's go into it. All right, there's some days, right, that I literally worked the last show here at Waterloo and got this huge, and I mean huge bump, like goosebump from getting thrown out of the ring by Jay Wesley of all fucking people, or whatever. All the fans are all littered here or whatever, but neither here nor there. But we all know that I took the victory that night from him one-on-one. Beside the point. Got a big old goosebump on my leg, okay? And guess who went in and threw 10 pallets of grocery truck at Aldi the next day? This guy.
That guy.
So it didn't matter. Like, I work because of these guys and the people that pay money to see us come out and kick some ass. And truthfully, I think, once again, like I said, everyone on this card is going to kick some ass tonight.
I think so, too. I'm excited. I want to thank you for joining us here.
Absolutely.
I wish we had more time, but like I said, come back and just talk wrestling with us.
We'll definitely get you on here this fall for sure, man.
I just want to say one more thing as a heel move. Go Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Hey, that's okay.
Love you, Zach.
We love Zach, too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Damian Saint, joining us here on the pre-show podcast party. CZ and I are in downtown Waterloo live right now, previewing the Absolute Pro Wrestling show. They're taking place here tonight. Last man standing. We've had Jason Prentice on here as well.
Yeah.
We've had Damian Saint, and I'll let you introduce our next guest, CZ.
Our next guest, I'm a bit familiar with him. I've seen him a couple matches. We've got Alvin Falcone coming in. Alvin, how are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Big show tonight, downtown Waterloo, last man standing. What is your vibe? How are you feeling before your matchup here tonight?
Prepared. I would say that's the word. I'm feeling very prepared. My opponent Zay, he and I wrestled. Gosh, could have been maybe a year ago. It was my debut here at APW.
Okay.
Was against Zay, and I lost. So I've been able to hit the drawing board and reevaluate some things, watch that match back, keep up with Zay, who was just on Ring of Honor. A big deal for him, a big deal for the company in general, bringing that publicity to us. I think I've prepared myself for tonight. And I think I've got the edge.
So going into a match like this, where you lost your first match against him, and in your debut, what is your mind? How do you prepare? What do you do to get psyched up and to get motivated to go into the ring?
Yeah, good question. First of all, I did a lot of beating myself up. Watching that match back, it was the little things. It was being in the wrong place at the wrong time, being overzealous, trying something that I knew I shouldn't have done in that moment. And so on the opposite end of that is realizing what to do, figuring out what to do, going in and being in the ring with people that have worked with Zay, know what he does, knows how he moves, and getting their feedback and utilizing my own offense and maybe some others against him, maybe using his own offense against him. So that's how I've prepared. I've also, I've been in the gym. I've been mentally preparing, just thinking and creating my own plan, which I'll keep to myself at the moment.
We respect that here.
but yeah, that's how I've prepared going into tonight.
Now you talk about this was your first match in APW.
Older, wiser, years worth of experience. How much of that is just the confidence you gained from your past experience?
Whether they be successes or failures,
yeah,
and drawn on that last year to now. You're a complete same guy, but you're a different guy.
Right, exactly. I'm the same guy, but a different wrestler.
There you go. There you go. You said it better. He said it better.
I have done a lot of soul searching, and of course, that comes along with, like I said, being in the gym, being mentally prepared for every match I go into, and I never underestimate my opponents now. I think I came in to that first match with Zay, going all the way back to it, a little overconfident, a little cocky.
Sure.
I felt like I was riding high, and in that moment, that was kind of the beginning of my own downfall within my own journey of wrestling. So being able to think about that and let this year and look back at this past year that I've had, like you said, all the successes, all the failures, and let that tally up and realize that, okay, these are all learning experiences. How can I grow? How can I move forward? I can't let myself backtrack, because then someone else is going to take my spot. So that's kind of been my mental. Looking back at this year, it was a very fruitful year.
Yep.
And I only know moving forward, it's going to get better.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You all right over there? Make sure you're okay. I'm not going to say anything. I wanted to make sure you wanted to say something first.
No. What can we expect? What can fans expect to see from you when they come watch an Alvin Falcone match?
Right.
I think just you can expect a ton of charisma. They see someone like me, and they don't know really what to expect.
Sure.
So I'd say just a ton of charisma. I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy myself, but I can move. I'm very light on my feet, very quick. I might throw out a moonsault every now and then. So I think just expect the unexpected when you see me.
Absolutely.
At a show. Whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, never never write me off.
Sure.
But always expect the unexpected when you are in the presence of Alvin Falcone.
What will fans say as they walk away tonight or in the moments following your match after watching you go out there and wrestle? What will the fans? Alvin Falcone is he was great in that match because what are the fans going to be saying after this match?
So something that I've held near and dear to my heart, along with the soul searching, has been a mental shift. I have viewed myself as more than a conqueror. And that's, I think each and every fan will walk out of this building tonight and be like, okay, yeah, Alvin Falcone is more than a conqueror. I let whatever that is, it's subjective. Whatever you think a conqueror is, I am more than that. Whatever you think a one-man army is, I'm more than that. So it's subjective, but it also works in every facet. And I think that's just my mental is I am more than what my own mental thinks I am. I am more than my mental barriers. I'm more than my physical barriers. I'm simply more than a conqueror.
Speaking, he doesn't sound like he's a year into this here at Absolute Pro Wrestling or Absolute Pro. He sounds like a veteran here. What's Alvin Falcone going to sound like in 5 years?
Hopefully, wishfully thinking on a national stage.
Sure.
I believe in myself that I can get there in that amount of time.
Yep.
It takes a lot of hard work. It takes some serious dedication.
Yeah.
Discipline. All those words. But I mean, I would even shorten that time to, I think, here specifically at Absolute Pro Wrestling, I'll be a champion. I'll be a champion within
absolutely
a year. Within the next year, I will be a champion here.
Yeah.
I'm that confident. You look back to a couple shows ago. I mean, me and Ethan went the distance with each other.
Yes.
Ethan proved why he is the champion right now, but I think he walked away knowing that I walked away by the skin of my teeth on that one.
I should have rephrased that question because after that answer, I think you're on the national stage before 5 years. I think you're going in the right direction. And here's why. It seems like and sounds like you've got it figured out up here, and that's the most important part.
I'm trying.
That's the most important part. And man, I'm telling you, that didn't sound like a rookie in the business answer. I mean, for a guy that hasn't been in for a very long time, you sound wise beyond your years.
Thank you.
Can really tell you care what you're doing. You know, it's not just you do care, and I can tell that. That bleeds through to me, and I appreciate that, and I really thank you coming on the pre-show.
Of course.
Thanks for having me. Before we let you go, we're talking all serious business. I want to get a little silly. You have a long history with a good friend of the podcast, one JT Energy. The first match that I watched you live was here in this building against JT Energy. Has he turned into the feline phenom?
Yeah.
Talk about what it was like wrestling a cat.
Weird. Simply put, weird. That was a first. That was a first for me. That was weird.
And he's probably going to kill me for calling him a cat because he's insistent that he's not.
The feline phenom, you know.
Absolutely.
I'll let him have it. But I think, you know, a cat's got 9 lives, and I think JT Energy's got an infinite amount. He's a phenomenal guy, phenomenal wrestler. He definitely challenged me as a wrestler. I hope he can say the same. But yeah, that was weird. It was weird.
I don't know what your pre-match rituals are. I'm sure it's never included a podcast before a match. But we want to thank you for taking time out of your preparation, of your schedule for your match tonight to come on to the show. We really appreciate it. You guys are doing something right here at Absolute Pro Wrestling, and I think word's getting out there.
Awesome.
So
we're trying. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you for stopping by.
It.
We will have him back at another time. I can promise you that. Alvin Falcone in a long form interview is a must. He sounds so wise beyond his years.
He really does.
Honestly, when he said he debuted here a little over a year ago, and the way he talked about his struggles and getting to where he needs to be mentally, wise beyond his years. He doesn't. I think he's got that national appeal. Before 5 years with the attitude and mindset that he has.
Yes, 100%.
But we're here in downtown Waterloo, Absolute Pro Wrestling, Last Man Standing podcast pre-show party. I am your host, Never Wrong, Nick Bull. This is the Wizard CZ. We are powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, and protected by Jared Zook of Country Financial. We have one more guest on the show today.
And this is our main event.
This is the main event of the evening. He'll be in the main event of tonight's match, defending his Absolute Pro Wrestling title, his championship, in a last man standing match.
First time ever in Absolute Pro. Ethan Everhart, welcome to Card Subject to Change.
Welcome,
How are you
welcome
today?
to the show, man. Glad to have you.
You too.
Talk about what's your mindset right now. You're just minutes before the show starts.
Yeah.
You're the main event. And it's last man standing. It's a match. It's going to take some time, some endurance. How you feeling going into this? Got your mind right?
Got my mind right. Trying to outlast them, out-hard them, and kind of stay in the competition, be able to beat them.
Absolutely. Talk about this crowd that comes in here. I've been here for shows before. The crowd's always into it. Very loud, very animated. What are the fans going to take away from tonight's last man standing show? It's a very good card put together, not just your last man standing match, but the whole card top to bottom. Fans are in for a treat tonight.
Yeah. I think they're going to understand what, I don't know, word I'm looking for, but it's heart, really. Heart,
Yeah.
Being able to withstand so much damage and still get up.
Well,
Keep fighting.
You're Ethan Everhart.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason that name is a play. You got to play that name on words, but absolutely. You've had a good run as champion.
Yep.
We were told to tell you this. Jason revealed a new Absolute Pro Wrestling Championship title tonight.
Yeah.
On our podcast just a little bit ago. He goes, I know that Ethan wanted to have that, but got to get through the last man standing match first. Talk about that new title. Have you laid eyes on it, and what are your thoughts of if you retain tonight in this last man standing match, you're going to have brand new gold in your lap?
Yeah, I have laid eyes on it. First time I seen it, I was like,
I know.
something new.
I know. It is shiny.
I had to slap Nick's hand a couple times.
I wanted it.
Right.
It's new and shiny.
It is. There's just more at stake now. It's at the end of the day, though, it comes down to who's the best. I think the title still remains the same mindset going into this thing is to defeat Aaron Von Baron tonight.
What would you like to hear the fans say after your match? You know, that Ethan Everhart match, it was something. I've seen you wrestle before. And I would my superlative I would use is that Ethan Everhart match was impressive. He was able to do this, and this, and while doing this as well. You know, that's my takeaway. What do you think? What would you want the fans' takeaway to be from an Ethan Everhart match, whether it be tonight's last man standing main event or just another Ethan Everhart match?
Every time I get in the ring, I kind of like to just push to another limit. I want people to understand that I'm not going in there just to do a one-off match. I'm not going in there to I'm going in there to make a name for myself every time. And I want people to understand, like, go away with it, that I'm just ready to work and put my all into this and innovate new things, come up with new things, and always switching up my style just so people can still appreciate it, pro wrestling for what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And making a name for yourself. I want to ask this. This is the first time that a last man standing match has happened here in Absolute Pro Wrestling. What do you feel about this being a first-time match and you going in as the champion? How does that feel to carry that weight on your shoulder?
There's a lot of weight on the shoulders right now. Just everything I do from a day to day, whether that's working out, whether that's yoga, whether that's watching matches, watching film, watching what AVB does, watch what he did last week, staying on top of that. There's a lot of weight, but I think tonight will go down good. And with the support of Waterloo, Iowa, and the support of the people, I think we'll be able to get it done.
And that brings up another great question. You are from Waterloo.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts going to be coming out of that match if you do retain the championship, doing that in front of your hometown crowd?
I think every time, bittersweet almost every time. You put so much into a match and you come out of it on top, and having your family and friends right there to support you every time, it never gets old, really. It's always a good thing, good feeling every time.
For sure.
Well, it's got to be one of those feelings that carries you through a hard time when you're struggling
Definitely.
in a workout or struggling in a match. That thought, that feeling of doing it in front of your friends, doing it in front of your family takes you to the next level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Every time I'm in the gym or anything like that, there's always stuff you have to think about to keep you going.
Yeah.
Keep you pushing, next rep, next set, whatever it is.
Sure.
And there's always the wrestling high people like to talk about, and
Yeah.
that's definitely a thing, and it definitely keeps you going for sure every week.
Well, Ethan, I've never been a champion of any organization.
Other than for frequency's sake.
Other than for frequency's sake. That's right. We are the co-champs. But I wouldn't imagine that doing a podcast before a big wrestling event has ever happened. How does this affect doing your pre-match prep? Are you in the right place already and ready to go?
I think it's gonna take. I think my mindset's it went from ready to go to gotta do this interview to make sure I can stay in the same mindset that I was before. But I think I'm pretty good at that and getting back into the right frame of mind pretty quick.
Good.
When I need to.
Well, I know I can speak for you, but it's been a pleasure talking to the Absolute Pro Wrestling Champion, Ethan Everhart. Your first appearance here on the Card Subject to Change podcast. We'll definitely have you back sometime down the road. Come on and talk full length. But looking forward to the crowd that's filling in, cheering for one of Waterloo's own in the main event tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Good luck, and thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much. That was Absolute Pro Wrestling Champion Ethan Everhart joining us on the pre-show podcast party. We are downtown Waterloo, Iowa, at the Cedar Valley Sports Complex for tonight's Absolute Pro Wrestling show. Last man standing. It's been a treat so far, man. We were nervous about doing this. I think we were really nervous about doing this for the first time. But I'm telling you what, I don't even know what time it is, but we've done 4 interviews and they've flown by. It's been crazy. It's been fun, and it's what I expected. It's what I want. We always talk about. We'll go behind the curtain here a little bit. We always talk about different things we wanted to try and do, and this was at the top of the list for both of us.
Yeah.
And we've been live at different places. I know we've been to Lopez, our proud sponsor, for our 1-year anniversary.
We've been at Kavanaugh's.
We've been there before doing a live show, and wanted to do something different, take the show on the road, and we did. And we know it's a busy Saturday in the wrestling world. If you're going out to catch a show tonight, I know Clash of the Castle was earlier today. We'll be reviewing that tomorrow here on the show, on our regularly scheduled show.
We will.
Want to share the exciting announcement. We are partnering back up with Absolute Pro Wrestling again in October 12th for the pre-show podcast party. Coming to you on October 12th. The main event that night will be a 4-way championship match in a cage, if I'm not mistaken. That's what Jason Prentice shared with us earlier on in this podcast, in this episode of the Card Subject to Change podcast. Also debuted a new Absolute Pro Wrestling Championship belt for the champion. We'll have pictures of that posted up on our social media here when we get off the air.
Yes.
The belt is amazingly beautiful. I think you took a picture of me smiling like a Cheshire cat. But really cool, and really glad that Jason was able to come on to the show.
I'm glad they were able to bring us out here. And,
My goodness, man.
Have us host this podcast.
Treated us great. We're set up here just feet from ringside for the show here tonight. Crowd filtering in here downtown Waterloo, the Cedar Valley Sports Complex. It's at all ages, family-friendly show.
If you're of age, there is alcohol.
There is alcohol here. I see a line over there. Some people lining up to get some beer. And hey, I can't blame them on a hot summer day in a nice air-conditioned building, coming out and watching some wrestling. But we were here back in March, I believe, partner.
Yep.
And it was a different setup in here for the ring tonight. They got a different setup, how the seating and the bleachers and chairs are. I actually would like to say I like this setup a little better, I think. I think it's aesthetically, it looks a little bit better.
It does. It's a lot more open. I'm excited for this show. We've got some great matches. We've already talked about most of them. We've got the last man standing main event. This is going to be awesome. If you are in earshot, if you're listening to the podcast and you're in Waterloo, come on down to the Cedar Valley SportsPlex. Meet me and Nick. Watch some great wrestling.
Say hi to the Card Subject Change crew. We're down here. We'll be here for the show. Looking forward to seeing a nice independent wrestling show, meeting some new people, meeting some new fans. Familiar guy in the house. We gave him a shout out earlier. Clint Dye is here taking pictures tonight, so he'll have them up on his social media. And I think he took a couple pictures of us.
Just a couple.
I seen him taking a couple pictures of us, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to mark out here and say I can't wait to see those pics. I'm sure they're going to be great. If you've seen Clint's in-ring wrestling camera work, it's phenomenal, and it's always one of the favorite posts of the weekend when he posts pictures from wherever he is. But we're glad to see him tonight. Good to see some familiar faces, some new faces, and new friends have been made. I want to thank Jason Prentice and both Brandon the Shank Eubanks for making our chat on Facebook Messenger so lively in our communication of the show. Absolute Pro Wrestling people, I got news for you. Wrestling's in good hands here in this area, in Iowa. There's so many good promotions, but these guys are doing it right. And I become friends with them through this Facebook message, and we can't even say what the name of the group is on the air.
No, we'd get fined for that.
We'd get fined for that, but it's very wrestling-esque. And when we started doing this, I never imagined we'd be live before a show like this, but I also never imagined all the friends we'd make along the way. So
exactly.
Double the fun here tonight. I don't know how much more you want to go, partner. We can.
Well, we're. I know they're closing in on showtime. We've got about 15 minutes before the show.
I'm going to wait. We'll wait here a few minutes because I have seen Brandon the Shank Eubanks walking by.
Speak of the devil.
There he is.
There he is. We're going to try and motion him over here.
He's very busy right now.
He is. Shank. He's talking.
He's very busy, man. He's tending to his fans' needs.
He is.
He's one of the star attractions here of Absolute Pro Wrestling, Brandon the Shank Eubanks.
And he'll be taking on the big picture tonight
in an open weight championship match.
Yes, indeed.
A match 6 years in the making. He's also one half of the tag team champs, the Boys. With Bryce Jordan. I'm trying to get his attention.
He's busy.
Try to get him real quick to get a few words. He has been on with us before. Broke down WrestleMania night two with us this year, and he was on with Prentice.
I believe that was called Shankamania, not WrestleMania.
It was Shankamania, and he was on with Prentice when we met the boys from Absolute Pro. I don't think we're getting Shank. He took off back to the locker room.
That's okay.
That's all right. We're kind of freeform here tonight. The PA's getting tested here. It's getting live. It's getting real here. Downtown Waterloo for Absolute Pro Wrestling's Last Man Standing. This has been our pre-show podcast party. Part 2 coming October 12th. back here in downtown Waterloo. We announced that on the pre-show with Jason Prentice. Things are rocking and rolling for the Card crew right now, CZ.
I'm excited. We've got big things coming up. Tomorrow, you talked about it. We'll be reviewing Clash at the Castle. Please don't send us any spoilers. We have not watched it yet.
No, we have not.
Our good friend JT Energy will have another moment of focus tomorrow.
Yes, he will.
Let's preview a little bit of next week. We've got a double shot on Sunday.
We do. I believe we are going at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock is our first
for
interview.
the first interview, and that is with
we have a returning
chosen one. He is battling the Devil Dog Dustin Mosley tonight at SCW Pro show. Shout out to SCW Pro in downtown Bluegrass at the community center.
Yes.
So we could possibly be talking to a new SCW Pro champion come next week on our show.
We'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely.
And then at our normal time at 6:30, we're interviewing Midwest wrestling favorite Matt Hatter. He'll be on. We're all mad here, so I'm looking forward to that.
I'm not mad about anything. Actually,
I'm not either.
We'll get hot wrestling takes on the way home. That'll be the drive home entertainment. Hot wrestling takes. The hills you're okay. The hills you're willing to die on as a wrestling fan. That'll be our topic on the way home drive.
Yes,
I'm sure.
that sounds good.
The reasons you
man.
die on a hill for wrestling. But no, great crowd up here. Still filtering in here. Downtown Waterloo. We are at the Cedar Valley Sports Complex. I see, first time I've looked over there tonight and seen it, but our logo there on the ring aprons.
Yeah.
We are here. The Card Subject Change podcast is a proud sponsor of Absolute Pro Wrestling. We'll get a pic later of those ring skirts and put it on the page for sure. They're it looks sharp. That's a sharp looking logo, and it looks real good on that apron.
I agree. Well, Nick, we're about 10 minutes from showtime. They're shutting the lights off above us. That's our cue to wrap things up for tonight. Jason teased maybe a post-show with the 2 Count Boys.
Yeah, stay tuned to social media for that. That was on the fly, but hey, we are the Card Subject to Change podcast. And yeah, love to do a collab here if we can get it arranged. Stay tuned to social media for that. I'll speak here for my partner real quick. I know that we really appreciate the guys up here for helping us out, getting us in here and welcoming us with open arms. The fellows here at Absolute Pro Wrestling have been great. Jason Vandy was on the Jason Prentice was on the pre-show. He's been so instrumental in setting this up and welcoming us with open arms. So I want to thank him for that. Also want to thank the fans for all the support. Never when I started this did I think we'd be doing something like this, and this is cool. I want to do this again.
Hey, and like I posted on socials earlier, only you can prevent empty wrestling arenas. Go to your local wrestling events, support your local wrestlers, just like we're doing today and every week on Card Subject to Change, hyping up the independent scene.
Absolutely.
As well as giving you reviews of the major leagues in pro wrestling. For my tag team partner, Never Wrong Nick Bull, I am the Wizard CZ. We're coming to you, like we said, from the Cedar Valley SportsPlex in downtown Waterloo, Iowa. We are powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, and built or protected by Jared Zook, Country Financial. We'll be right back here tomorrow, so stay tuned for that reaction to Clash at the Castle, and enjoy your wrestling this weekend. Thank you very much for tuning in.